Hello, hello. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. What's up, everyone? We're back. Another day, another dev. Yeah, let's just hop right into it. Still working on our tile map editor, as we always do. Maybe we'll be done with it soon in the next couple of months. We'll see. We got GDC next week. We got Ludum Dare a couple of weeks after that. Exciting times. Hey, Diginanigans. How's it going? How are you today? So now we've got our little used rect tracker thing here, so I can expand this, and then I can just expand it again, and we're keeping track of the actually used rect. We're not really doing anything with this right now. We're actually kind of shifting gears to focus more on a select tool, which would let me, like, let's say I wanted to move this section, I could left click, drag, and it would select all of these tiles, and then I would have to decide what I wanted to do with it. I'm kind of torn about what I want to happen. I originally thought that you would left click, drag, select this block, and then immediately it would move around with your mouse. Like it becomes your palette, you know? It becomes your palette selection. And then you can right click, and I guess it would place it somewhere, but maybe it'll work a little differently. Maybe you just select the area and then nothing happens, and then you have to decide what you want to do. I don't know. I'm a little hesitant. But we have some things we need to figure out before then in the code. Shenanigans, not too bad. You're working on your world building tool right now? All right, it's a tool development day. Who needs to work on games? Let's work on game tools, man. That's what the real work is. All right, so I think what we're going to be doing, looking at the tool system. So we're looking at select, the select process. And we need to look at this continue. So we need to look at what happens when you click and drag. And to do that, we need... Oh, we want to set up this active selection AABB. That's what we want to do. We realize that the selection is really just a subset of the buildable area. So we just really need to just build an AABB around that. And then we can figure out what we want to do with that later. Right now, it's kind of in conflict between active block tool and active selection. Like, do we not use the block tool if we have a selection? How do we clear a selection? Do we clear a selection after we placed it? I don't know. There's a conflict between these two workflows. Between having this block that you can just place down versus having an AABB that's the active selection. We need to figure out how to unify that. We need a process that works for both selection and placement. So that once you make a selection, you can make a placement. We already split off the palette selection as a different thing, but maybe a palette selection is not a different thing. I don't know. a little weird. We have to figure it out. But for now, let's just build this AABB. So we have prior bounds. We don't want to mess with that. We don't want to mess with anchor chords. Oh, maybe we can. Maybe we can reuse these. Maybe we can reuse all of these. Because we're never going to be selecting and placing at the same time. Maybe we can just reuse those. So what we do here is we build this boundary. And I think we can just do the same thing. Whether we need to do any additional steps beyond that is another question. And what we also need to do is similar to how we have our little selection grid or our little construction grid. I don't know what you want to call it. The boundary, the like used rect of the buildable area. We also need another little grid that's just for selections. So we need to build that out too. Yeah. How's your world building tool going, Diginanigans? Say here is we can say active selection. Can we just say active selection dot resize? No, we can't. Maybe we can. I don't see why we can't have this. I guess this would be a static function. Guess I'll just do it like this. Do we need the prior bounds for anything? I don't know. I don't think so. All right, let's try to build this out. And the trick here, if I want to render this, is we need to make this information available. That we can put in the input. Shenanigans, your work's going pretty good overall. You're taking a break from the map building part right now and focusing more on the authoring part of things. Specifically right now, you're just creating a better UI to create new projects. Nice. We can get rid of this used bounds thing. But we can put here somewhere. We can put like public AABB selection. We can use this. All right, so we're gonna set up another grid. It will be one of these. So we have static levels, elastic levels, editor levels. This is gonna be like select levels. I don't know. Just duplicate this. Select levels. Now I need to remember where I need to reference this. Probably here. Oh, maybe not. Doesn't look like we actually use this here. Probably need to reference this somewhere else. Probably in here. Yeah, here we go. All right, so we've got this. We need put this in the into this oh, elastic levels dot get node nodes dot add. Oh, I need to add this down here. Yeah, this is super hacked together, and then I'm building this little list of nodes. We're going to need like an ID system to maintain that, but that's fine. We already have something like that for the ECS that we can just use. But for now, when we get here, we have an update construction grid. 1 bounds. We can reuse this update construction grid. Bounds. There's a lot of implicit state going on here, and I'm not happy about it. Like, this needs to run in the update tilemap data entirely so that this member variable is in the correct state before we call this. There's a lot of... This is hacked together pretty poorly. But what I want to do for now is just get this working. So instead of bounds, we're calling game.input.selection. Hey, Fusionist, how's it going? How are you doing today? This should work. Let's go down here and make sure this is going to work. You're chilling? Cool. How goes? What's on the menu today? We're working on our selection. That I can select like subsections of the construction of like the thing we're building and then like move it around or whatever. So I can select it and then do something with it. Like select it, add it to the palette, or select it, copy and paste it somewhere, select it and like cut and paste it somewhere. So if Control C is typically copy, what is typically cut? I usually don't. I'm not used to needing to cut something out of file. Copy. It'd be nice if it would tell me. Let me see. Control X. That's usually cut. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Thank you. You abuse that command? Yeah. Oh, Diginanigans comes in with also with the Control X. Apparently I'm the only person who's not like cutting stuff all over the place. I guess I'm being lazy and I'm like physically dragging things around the file system. I'm doing that kind of laziness that's actually more work, but it's like less mental effort. That's my brand of laziness. All right, so the way we build this construction grid should work exactly the same, and we just need to substitute the boundaries and the target node. So we should easily be able to just reuse all of this code, generate our little selection grid so that we can see what we're selecting. These are hard-coded node targets. We need to change that to like an ID system, but that's fine. Fine. We can just in ready. If there's internal, if systems have certain internal entities, we could even just have the entities get created in the ready system and stored here. If they're like singletons that we need to reference globally, we can store them in like the game world or whatever. Like construction entity or whatever. So that should be easy to do. Excuse me. Fusionist, it's your go-to for cutting lines since in most IDEs it works without selecting, just like copy. Same for duplication. Oh, okay, that's nice. Nice. Yeah, I'll literally highlight and like drag like a block of code around, which is probably not the way to do it. Oh my god, anonymous gifter. Gifting the tier 1 sub to Fusionist. Thank you, anonymous gifter. Too kind. Far too kind. Thank you. Diginanigans, XCV for cut, copy, and paste. Yeah, that makes sense. Are all intentionally beside each other on the keyboard. At least on a typical US QWERTY keyboard. I know, I consider that like my home row. Like I know the home row is the row above that, but in my mind, the home row is like ZXCV. Especially on this weird keyboard I have, because the control is on my thumb. So it's like really nice. I just have control and then VCXZ. And I'm just constantly hitting a lot of those keys. Obviously not X, because I didn't realize I could use X, but the other ones. But yeah, that's good keyboard layout. I don't even want to think about having to deal with like an AZERTY keyboard right now. Or Dvorak or whatever. Wowza. Yeah, thank you, kind stranger. You always thought it was because the X looks like scissors. Yeah, the X, I understand why why cut is X. That makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if I could describe why it makes sense to me, but yeah. Hey, still needs work. How's it going? Welcome in. How are you doing today? Fine Wednesday. Down here, it's supposed to start pouring rain. I'm like excitedly waiting for it. Supposed to start pouring rain in like a couple of hours. Fusionist them being aligned makes more sense. That's what diginanigans meant. Yeah, I think so. Do I like rainstorms? I do. I have no consequences for rainstorms because I like living in a big city. So like my power never goes out. I don't have to deal with downed trees and stuff. But I do like it. I'm sure I'd have a very different opinion if I was living up in like Alaska. Or somewhere more rural. Where the consequences of a rainstorm are more
Maximum
felt.
warp.
Maximum warp, no Jewel. Yeah, Fusionist. Yeah, they were... Diginanigans was making that point as well. About the Z being there right in a row. I'm definitely in the camp where I want redo to be Control-Shift-Z. I know some people like Control-Y for redo. That makes no sense to me. I'm a Control-Shift-Z kind of guy. Still needs work. What's bad about rain here is then it might snow, so it makes ice. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, see, I don't think about that stuff. If it rains and snows. Yeah, that sounds terrible. All right, so this should mostly work. Let's see. I'm sure there's a way in which somewhere in here. I'm like convinced that I've made a mistake, which is why this isn't gonna work. But like I can't think of what that mistake would have been. So we're just gonna try this. We're gonna see what we get. The cursed Control-Shift-Y. That sounds horrible. No, Joel, I don't even want to think about that. All right, so let's build out a thing, and then let's make a selection. Oh, look at that. And now we just have a selection. I need to handle the single click. It looks okay when they overlap too, because they double up on their they get a little bit of extra alpha. You can see them a little more clearly. Okay, cool. So we've got our little selection. We can also use our selection like this. Ooh, and that goes away when we're doing this. Oh, because we're not processing a hover. Okay, I love this. All right, we're doing this well. This is coming together. So what we're going to need to be able to do is grab this and then move it. So maybe if you click into the selection area, like if you click into an area that's already selected, maybe then you can move it. In addition to being like, you can do Control-C, Control-X. In addition to being able to copy and paste it, maybe you can move it. Maybe if you hit Control-C, it switches to a different mode where that becomes like your palette. Same with Control-X, except Control-X like removes it and then puts it in your palette. We're maybe getting a little overboard in terms of functionality. What I need to fix right now is the single click. A single click should give you like a single square selection. That's not happening right now. We're listening to like especially calming music today. If anyone's bothered by that, remember, you can change the radio. This is like right on the border of being like a little too like classical for me. right on the line. All right, so anchor chords, prior bounds. So the problem is we're not actually setting the selection. I want to add a version of this. I want to add a static version of resize. I've decided. I know that's going to be confusing. But I want it. Public, static. Oh, can we actually do that? Yeah, we can do this because it takes two different things. We can be like left, vector 3i, right. Really isn't much different than the constructor. Oh, except that you're not specifying which is the minimum and which is the maximum. You're just giving it a left and right, and it's going to figure out the minimum and the maximum between them. Okay, I like that. All right, that's a good use of resize. So here, instead of doing whatever we're doing here, we can actually just say game.input.selection equals aabb.resize anchor chords, like that. We can do the same thing here. Actually don't need to set the prior bounds. Just want to set the anchor chords, and we can just say anchor and game input selection. Here we can say this. We can say dot resize. Can I actually just say equals new AABB chords? Oh, that works. We pass in a single set of chords. This chords. Okay, cool. Actually, if we know we've created this like this, we don't actually even need this version. We can just say dot resize. We're not doing it at the end step, and maybe we should. I don't know. I'm not actually sold on that. All right, so now we should be able to get a single coordinate selections. So we make our little buildable area, and then now we can click in. We can also do, oh, but we can't click and drag anymore. What happened here? Function doesn't work the way I think it does. Really? Why doesn't this work? Dies. This should totally work. Okay, this is getting a little silly. This is getting a little too cinematic. Music selection. I feel like I'm in like the Godfather. Oh, actually, I'm debugging. Okay, for some reason that's never changing. Oh, do I need to say something really stupid like game.input.selection equals game.input.selection.resize? That can't possibly be the problem, could it? Oh my god, that is the problem. Okay. Not how I thought that would work. I mean, it makes sense because we're not assigning it back technically if we're just calling that this if it's a struct. Okay, cool. So we can get single square selection targets. Oh, that's not exactly how I want this to work, is it? Actually, yeah, it is, huh? Oh. Well, this is a problem. Okay, maybe we don't want it to work like this. Try that. All right, I tried to simplify it and I made everything worse. So we're gonna do it this way instead. We do this. Okay, that's good. Now it's very stable. Okay, well, we have a really simple system for outlining things and like doing selection stuff, and that's good. I wonder if this could be done. It's probably better to just have them be set up as separate tilemap layers. I'm like, oh, could I make them one tilemap layer? It handles all of this? No. Too complicated. No reason to not just have an extra tilemap layer here and there to do this. All right, what happens if I try selecting across multiple Z levels? Oh, that just works. Cool. And then if I try to select it again, it's just down here. Oh, wait, what? There's a problem here. We're having this like we're supposed to be changing the modulation of these grid lines to make them stronger when we're on the same layer and weaker when we're not. Oh, why is that happening? They're like going away when I'm drawing them. Oh, fascinating. I mean, from a clarity standpoint, that's kind of nice, I guess, but like... Oh, it's because the hover is going away. That actually is intentional, sort of. Oh, but now our selection thing is gone. All right, let's figure out this modulation, because only the top level is like the highest modulation, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to change as we go up and down. So let's figure that out. Lots of little things happening today here. So why is a lot of progress on small problems here. Okay, so you are using this script, a grid level script, to modulate levels. Are you not being called? Hand viewer up or down, modulate levels. You're probably not being called. You are not being called. Neither of you are being called. Okay. This is kind of reminding me of SnowRunner, which I've been playing a bit. For when I just want to unwind after work and not work hard on anything. Really nice for that. You can just like drive a truck, one or more trucks around, doing little missions. Very calming playing that game. There's a lot of these now. Why are there so many of these? I probably should just have an array of these. Call them like grids or something like that, or like editor grids, or not have to do these for each one. All right, that should help with that part. Hey, bad cop. How's it going? How are you doing? GDC, just a few days away. All right, this should work now. We can make this. We can make our little selection. Oh, I could probably turn off that debugger. I want to look at that. And then if I start going down, okay, now the modulation is staying with us. So like the brightest of these lines is consistently the line for the level we're currently on. To the point where they kind of go away after a while, and that's what we want to see. So if I have like a selection and I start selecting more than one level, that also goes down. It disappears after a while, which is maybe not the best. It only shows a certain number of levels at a time, but I think that's fine. Okay, that's good. Internet works so hard. That's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to. I'm gonna reach out because I wanna hang out with you, and I know your practical is gonna be there too. That'll be cool. There's two Bay Area Godot meetups. There's one this Saturday and one next Saturday too. Couldn't really find much else for Godot stuff going on. It's a little bit of a shame. Adam C. Eunice is going to. That would be that might be too much for me. That would be like meeting my hero kind of situation as like a pixel art newbie. That might be overwhelming. But that would be so cool to meet Adam. Yeah, no, Jewel, I'm going. Oh, Shenanigans, you played Mudrunner? You ever tried SnowRunner? Yeah, I hear they're very similar. I mean, it makes sense. Your current escape is playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That does look fun. Just swinging the medieval sword around. But yeah, I'm excited for GDC. I started putting my like itinerary together yesterday. I've made my way through like Tuesday and partway through Wednesday. There's like I was looking at the party list and there was like almost 200 events on the party list, and I was like, this feels like way more than has ever been on there before. Like I feel like in years past I've been able to read through the whole party list and like have an idea of what's happening, and this year I was just like, I don't know. There's so much going on. So yeah. Kind of crazy. Any good ones? There's some funny ones. Go grab that thing. GDC party list. So like, this is probably the worst way I could have done this. Let me grab the better formatted version. What stood out to me? Day of the Devs on Sunday is always fun. I usually go to that before I go register, but whatever. What else is interesting? You bought the GDC Nights Pass thing? Oh, cool. What is that? What does that get you? Monday and Thursday? Cool. You have no idea it's new? Okay, yeah, I've never heard of that before. Look at us. Item number 2. Bay Area Godot meetup. We're like one of the first events and one of the last events, and I think that's pretty good, especially because there's nothing else Godot going on really on here. I think the turnout's gonna be kind of huge to the meetups. I'm gonna try to go to both of them, the 15th and the 22nd. See how many Godot people show up. What else stood out to me? Tuesday, you're going to this one, Beyond Pixels, and LGBTQIA GDC Mixer. Oh, cool. Yeah, there's so much. I'm like still scrolling through Monday. Let me click that link. Oh, it's at the Oasis? Cool. And it's free. That's awesome. That could be fun. I'm like trying to pace myself on parties because I know if I like do a little too much, I'll like nope out of like Thursday, Friday. I always want to go to Slug World, but it's like kind of far. It feels kind of far and kind of like a separate thing. But I always, every year I'm like, oh, should I go to Slug World? And then it's usually rainy and like kind of cold out, and I'm like, I don't want to just sit in the that amphitheater. Oh no, Jewel with the Ko-Fi. Could you just support me on Ko-Fi? Thank you, No Jewel. Hey, Outagon, how's it going? Oh, Oakland, you're too lazy to go that far? Yeah, same. It's really not bad. That's probably like a 20-minute BART ride or something, but like mentally it feels so far. There was something on Wednesday that caught my eye that looks hilarious. There's a bunch of stuff that like you can't get into now. They ran out of space and there's just wait list, which is a bummer. What's the thing on Wednesday that really caught my attention? Thank you, No Jewel. Did you include a message? Just curious, because it's supposed to do like TTS, and I don't think there was any TTS. But I might have talked over it. So I just want to make sure that's hooked up correctly. You're the first person to use that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. There's so many evening the How to Market a Game meetup is really good. That's like the Chris Sikowski group meetup. And I met so many cool devs at this last year. It was in the morning last year. It was at like 11 or something. This year it's like at 5 p.m. So I don't know, but I highly recommend this meetup. This is like, in my mind, this was like my best shot at like meeting a bunch of like actually Steam published like indie devs. I met a bunch of really cool ones at the How to Market a Game meetup. Your likelihood of being able to talk to Chris Zukowski is like basically 0, but it's cool. What else is going on? There was something here that was so funny to me. Oh, Vertical Slice, a game dev variety hour. It's like a variety show in the Lower Haight. It costs money, so I'm like, I don't want to go to that, but it's very tempting to me. It sounds fun. Like a weird indie game dev variety show with music and performances and game trailers and more. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, but it costs money. And it's like a night event, and like, I don't know if I want to. It sounds intense. I don't know if I'm going to have the social energy for this, but it really caught my attention. But yeah, I stopped looking after Wednesday. I made it through Wednesday last night, and I was like, I'm going to have to pick this up later because there's so much going on. I think the thing that's going to be the most valuable to me are just going to be random encounters. Like if I run into you or Practical or, God forbid, Adam. I think that's going to be the coolest stuff. The coolest stuff of the event, or just kind of the incidental encounters. You missed the message box? Okay, so no word on whether that works or not. AIX Web 3? I know, it's like... You think that would cause like an explosion to have a meetup that's like both of those things combined? Terrible. Wednesday can be your day off from parties? Yeah. Stumble into Thor, Atagon? That would be... I don't think you can stumble into Thor, because Thor is like 6 foot something. And we'll probably have like an entourage. But yeah. That will be wild. I got the Indie Game Dev Summit Pass, which gets you some good stuff. I'm kind of excited. I usually do this. It's like my treat for myself. I set aside like a few $100s to grab this every year. There's some fun stuff. Some of the stuff you're just like, no, I don't need this, like a fundraising boot camp. There's a lot of like indie game summit. Sex sells, or does it? Making top quality adult games. Like that just sounds like a fun 30-minute talk. Marketing your game under the new Steam rules. You can get your Chris Zukowski 30-minute 2025 edition. This feels a little more sponsored and a little less fun than maybe in previous years, but a lot of people throwing the word funding around a lot. But there's usually good stuff in the Indie Game Summit. Like there's a making of Animal Well. I very much want to go see Billy Basso's talk on making Animal Well. That sounds awesome. The Tactical Breach Wizards talk might be fun. I want to study more writing and game stuff. You did the Indie Game Dev Summit one year. Wasn't worth it. Yeah, it's fair. To me, it's like a good opportunity. Like, you know, the people you're going to run into are at these things, at most of the Indie Game Summit ones. Like, you sit down, I'm a lot more confident at these ones because I know that the person sitting next to me is probably an indie dev. Whereas like when I was going to like Unity talks or something like that, like a few years ago, or sponsored talks, you sit down and you try to start a conversation with the person next to you, and they work for like Wells Fargo, which is cool, but like not what I'm there for. I don't want to talk to like a banking advisor who's here to like report back. Like, whereas at least if I'm at the Independent Game Summit, like last year, I sat next to, on accident, I sat next to Daniel Ben-Margui, whose name is hard to pronounce, the maker of Storyteller. And that's like a huge hero of mine from like 10 plus years ago. And like just accidentally sitting next to them and talking to them is so cool. Or like one year I sat next to the programmer of Fez, whose name escapes me at this very moment. Like That's kind of, to me, that's what the summit's really about. It's like 2 days of like, you're way more likely to bump into indies than on the wider show floor. Why am I seeing this Unity developer stuff? I don't want to see this. I don't play enough games though, because I'm not familiar with enough of these games that are coming out. The soapboxes are always fun, the little micro talks they put on. But yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Oh, never mind. The post-mortem of Harold Halibut. I have to see this. Harold Halibut was like genius. Yeah, 1 hour post-mortem on Harold Halibut. I'm super excited for that. Arn Adams is giving a talk. That's fun. And some of the KitFox people on indefinite early access, which I want to know about. There's good stuff in here. But yeah, I don't think it's worth $500 or whatever, especially if you're not going to get an Expo Pass. Like if you're going to get an Expo Pass and like the Expo Pass is $350 and the Indie Game Summit Pass is $500, I think that $150 gap there, I think that's like a reasonable reach. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not. What's the chance Adagon is just randomly there? 0, since you're boycotting the US. SF is barely the US. That's true. Maybe if GDC is in Toronto. What's the chance Toby Fox is just randomly there? Probably high, and you probably would need to be paying attention to notice them. It's crazy how easy it is to just bump into huge people that are just hanging out at the park. They're just hanging out at Yerba Buena. Like, maybe 2 years ago. I feel like it wasn't last year. Whichever year Dwarf Fortress released on Steam, Zach and Tarn were just in the park a bunch, just hanging out. And you could just walk up to them and like 3 other people would be talking to them. Not like this huge circle, but like just a few people would be sitting talking to Zach and Tarn Adams. And it's like, these are the makers of Dwarf Fortress, and I can just go up and talk to them. And the only thing preventing me from doing so is my imposter syndrome. And like, that's cool. That's just cool. But yeah, I'm excited. It always sneaks up on me, but I'm excited. Like I could, yeah, like you could run into Bad Cop _. That's my hope. I'm hoping to run into Bad Cop _ Practical NPC and whoever else. I'm very much hoping. I'm not good at coordinating all this stuff, but we're gonna make it happen. The Bay Area Dev Collective is having a meetup on Monday. You're gonna be there like Monday. I know most people aren't at like Monday at 11, but all the bad collective people are going to be there. That's a pretty, there's a lot of crossover between the Bay Area Godot meetup and the bad collective, but yeah, it's going to be awesome. Join Discord. I will do it. Adagon, you need to get large enough where people say Mark Zuckerberg looks like me instead of the other way around. Good luck with that. I feel that. All right, I'm working, right? I'm working on something. Ostensibly. All right, I'm kind of done with cinematic music for today. Couldn't do it. I had to stop. The Godot GDC gang? Hell yeah. I had a hot tip about where you can maybe run into the Godot Foundation people. I'm gonna not reveal it on stream. But Zach is pretty close with a lot of those people now. He's like emailing them, seeing what's going on. Because yeah, too bad. There was a really cool Godot party at the GitHub HQ last year. And it was awesome. I ran into all sorts of people. I met Jackie Codes. It was amazing. DuckDev was there. I didn't meet DuckDev. But it's really cool. I also got to meet all the devs of what's that Steam Deck game that came out that was really great? Like the Diablo Light game that came out recently. Sold like 1 million copies or something. Good stuff. Yeah, the GitHub thing got canceled. I heard they couldn't get the venue. I heard they were unable to get the venue for it. Maybe their host wasn't there. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of sad because that was an amazing event. That was really cool. Even just being in the Godot HQ was really cool. All right, so we have our selection. Now we need to do something with it. We need to be able to move it. And this is the part where I need to think more about the process. Which is hard to do because I'm distracted because GDC is like next week. Amanda was asking if you knew a venue. You were like, for 300 people? No. Yeah, everybody cram into their apartment. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, let's go to Noisebridge with 300 people. It's like, no. I'm actually a little concerned that the turnout at Noisebridge is going to be like really high. Like Juan Lenitsky high. I'd be glad. I'd be excited if that ended up being the case. Okay, so we have our little construction here. So let's just make a couple things. So we build our stupid little thing. Hollow it out so it's like actually a room. And so the intention is that what I can do here is click on this, oops, and this. And so now I've selected all of this, but now I have this selection. You can kind of see from the dotted lines. Now I need to be able to do something with it. I kind of don't want it to just follow the mouse around by default. I want you to have to trigger it with something. So either, one thought I have is you click into it, and it asks if you're clicking into, oh, but that's really hard to do because of how we build the inputs in Godot and then send them over to the C# side. And the selection area is a Godot, is a C# construct here. I wanted click and move, like drag and move, but maybe that's not what we can do. Maybe we would have Control-C or Control-V and it would add, or Control-C or Control-X and it would add it to the palette. It would basically replace like using this kind of a palette. I need like an icon to represent like a working memory. Or maybe you can't add stuff to this palette. You can just copy it and it goes into like a clipboard kind of thing. And then you can paste it somewhere else. Gotta think about that. Bad cop. Unfortunately, the types of people you're friends with are not in charge of event spaces. Yeah, same. They're in charge of databases and nerd shit. Yeah, I know. They're like, we've got capacity for plenty of data. Not, you know, human bodies. Yeah, I'm not, I used to maybe know more people that were like into like organizing events and stuff, but I'm so asocial now that that's like a real struggle for me. 300 people, no problem. That's like 2 gigabytes tops. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very much so. All right, so how would we do this if I wanted to click and drag? Let's look at how we handle. So what we could do is we could pass the selection back so that the board knows about it. So that the board knows about where the selection is. I kind of like that. Because then if we do that, we can process a click. So we can process our unhandled input and we can say, we can make it basically say if, I don't know, has selection or whatever. We have a selection. We can check the selection volume. I don't have an AABB custom class in here, which is a problem for doing it that way. Maybe we don't have drag and move yet. Drag and move is kind of the one that I want. Like click drag. You can like kind of the one that I want. But that one is probably the most involved setup. Probably easier to just do copy paste or cut paste. Let's set those up in the input editor here. Or in the input map. Diginanigans, Control C to copy a selection, then Control V. Could show that selection box of where it's gonna paste, but doesn't commit until you click. Yeah, that's probably what we'll do, because we already have the hover, which is like the same thing as when you're just mousing around and it shows you what it's gonna look like if you clicked. We'll probably do the same thing, but we need to set that up for the selection area. So yeah, so we'll add an action. We'll add like copy selection. We'll add cut selection. And we'll add paste selection. We can have, this will be, copy is C plus shift plus control. Cut is X plus control. Paste is V plus control. Okay, so those are our here we go. And then when we actually do that part, we put that in the input handler. You can put that in here under the edit. So we can say elif input dot is action just pressed, copy selection. We want the exact match so that we listen for, you can say game.enqueue input. Right now we can keep it simple. We can probably just say have it be edit, copy. And we can just do the same thing for the other two. We can say elif. Oh, elit. I was like, why isn't that working? I'm like gonna be really sad when I have to like make this tool work on like the Steam Deck or something. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, but that's fine. If anyone actually wants to do like modding, they should probably be on PC. I could even technically like restrict the access to certain input types. But I do kind of want the coveted like verified for Stream Deck thing. So maybe I should at least manage it, even if it's not amazing. Okay, so those are all our inputs added. So Godot will hear those and send them over to the C# side for us. Now we just need to process them. Copy, cut, paste. So let's go to edit system. ECS system. I need to separate the ECS implementation like the raw ECS, like the stuff that enables ECS to work from like the actual implementation of the systems. Mainly so I can actually have the ECS be like a plugin or something, instead of having it be like hard coded as part of this project. All right, so we've got all of these. We've got tool, save, load, undo, redo. Case command.arg.copy. We're gonna have copy. Oh, I need to add these to the list of arguments. Recognized arguments. Copy. Cut. Paste. Actually, I guess these are tool, aren't they? We actually don't need to have this be here. These are tool commands. So I can actually, or at least this version of it is a tool command. So we're going to say edit, tool, copy, edit, tool, cut. So we don't actually have to add anything here. It'll just get routed through the tool command. So we can get out of here. We can go to the tool system. Now we need to add those to this. So case command.arg.copy. Case command.arg.cut. And then down here we want paste. Case command.arg.paste. Yeah, I don't know. I really do ultimately want to be able to do like a drag, like a click drag thing. But this is certainly easier and maybe better long run. Because if I did the click and then drag thing, it would be like confusing. Because like if you had made a selection and then you tried to click into the selection to make a new selection, you wouldn't be able to do that. It would just be trying to move around your selection. So you'd have to like escape out of the selection and then like do it again. Which I guess isn't that bad. That's not actually that bad. We could actually handle that through this workflow. We could actually, when you're beginning a select move, we could figure out whether we have a selection or not and behave differently. I actually kind of maybe want to try it that way first. Then we just need escape to be able to release the selection. That's a little tricky. So maybe we try this first, because this might be easier. So copy is going to say, how are we going to do this? Because it essentially needs to override how hover works. We're basically changing how the hover script works. Because the hover case is what lets us do just this thing. Please don't crash. This thing where we can kind of just mouse around. So this is just like previewing what the block would be like if we placed it there. You can just see what it would be like. And the trick of it is that it's actually placing it there on like a probationary basis so that the auto tiler can use it and everything. But if we start like selecting, it just goes away. So if we have this stuff, and then we want to select, like if I want to select this and I've decided to select and move this thing, I can select it. I kind of do want to set it up so I just click into it and then just move it around. I don't know if I actually want to set up copy and paste, but I guess you eventually need copy, because what if you select this and you want to like, you actually do want to copy and paste it. So I guess I need to support that either way. The problem is if we just do a copy here. So if we do like Control C, and now when we move around, it should just show what a copy of it looks like. We need to plug that into the hover. That's going to be a little tricky. Should be doable. A little tricky. All right. Okay. I think I know what I want to do. I say confidently. What happened to my selection? Oh, I'm not actually keeping track of it here. That's fine. So here we're going to say, so what we could keep track of here is like a has collection thing. Private bool has what do I want to call this? What do I call a mode where you're either copying or pasting? You've got like a clipboard, like active clipboard. I don't know. Clipboard active. Oh, Jewel, Patreon categorized you as an 18+ creator. Fuck, you just opened a ticket. What does that mean? Like you only create 18+ content? Weird. Only copy paste equals programmer mode. Atacon. Yeah. How's D2Jam going? I had to kind of zone out of progress on that between GDC and everything. But I know it's happening like immediately. I'm gonna have just a clipboard empty bowl, and if the clipboard is empty, we're just gonna not do this. But if we've got anything in the clipboard, we're gonna behave differently. That's how I'm gonna say this. I think that's maybe bad, but it works for me. So for hover, we're gonna say if clipboard empty, we'll do this thing. Do all this stuff that we're currently doing. Just to preserve the current functionality. I'm gonna need a way for escape to like get us out of that. I'm gonna need an escape key out of the selection process. I need escape to like remove the selection. Okay, I can do that. You don't know how it looked last time I saw it? It was probably a while ago. It was probably like a month ago. Theme elimination is active right now. Okay, cool. I'm excited to see what the theme ends up being. No, Joel, you got a question if you're 18 or older and you have to do a more thorough verification process. You get a question if you are 18 or older. That doesn't make sense. I feel like their verification process... Yeah, I feel like maybe they've misphrased that. Shouldn't everyone... Shouldn't all creators on Patreon be like adults? Like, there'd be like crazy complicated laws in place to like have a Patreon person, like a creator on Patreon who's like a minor. That sounds like confusing. Well, good luck. Good luck sorting that out. All right, so if the clipboard's not empty, we're going to do something else. And this is the part that's complicated. So this is the part where we need to basically... I should probably write a function that does it, but for now, I'm just going to put it here. The copy is pretty easy because copy is just going to be like clipboard empty is like false. Oh, what I need to do is have clipboard empty start out as true. And then this is going to be clipboard empty is false. But what we're going to do is we're going to reveal blocks in game.input.selection. Oh, is this not going to work? You can't reveal the blocks there. We just need to erase them. It needs to be place blocks in. Oh, I need to think about how I'm going to implement the cut. That's going to be a little complicated. Remove the selection. It's from where it currently lies. Adagon, since a month ago, the site visuals have changed and image support was added. I'm going to check it out. Oh, snap. This looks pretty great. This is looking good. Jam starts in 9 days, 2 hours. You got 62 entrants. That's awesome. If it didn't start during GDC, I would have loved to do this. Okay, so you're eliminating stuff, and then in a couple of days, you'll start the actual theme voting rounds. Cool. This looks sweet. How did you make, in a few months, a better website than Ludum Dare's managed to pull off in like a decade? This looks great. Ludum Dare is made in PHP. That certainly doesn't help. This is in great shape. Yeah, this is looking great. That's really cool. I'm like thinking about doing compo again. And I wish I had 72 hours. And I wish I had 3 days. I really enjoyed my solo dev experience when I had 3 days. I'm like kind of stressed to try another 48-hour jam. I wish I could do the one dev army entrance here. Super cool. Super excited to see what comes out of that. Click on a post title? Okay, I'll do it. Let me do it. Clicking on a post tile. Oh, you see how like juiced up that was, everyone? Look at that. Oh, I loved that. I love that easing you got there at the end. That was great. All right, yeah, this looks awesome. Click cozy mode. Oh, we're already in cozy mode. That's how I want to be. Super cool. Great job. How I went to a different channel and we still got the oh, this is actual classical music. This is like putting me to sleep. I need to go to the other channel. Marketing should ramp up after the first event. Cool. You're probably going to be running this twice a year. Okay. Okay, cool. I hope I can make the next one. You've been finishing features in the hours before you need them for theme suggestion and theme elimination. That's what gets stuff done, is imminent need. All right, so if we've got stuff in the clipboard, we need to go through a different process. So we still need to reveal block at, so we probably need to do this either way. So I'm actually going to push this out here. We probably also need to set the coords either way. So I can put this out here. Then this part is a little different. I'm like not convinced we need the change bounds thing. Prior coords. I actually don't know if we need that. So for this, if we're actually trying to like preview a section, what we need to do is we need to say something like, right now I'm just going to support copying. So we're going to say place blocks in. Oh, bounds. Oh, does place blocks in not support? What do? You just directly read the active block tool? Oh, no. We need to refactor this. This is more like place block in. Or no, it is blocks, isn't it? Maybe we say something like this. Maybe we say, oh, it needs to be two different things, huh? That's fine. We're just gonna make a version of this with an additional, with an additional parameter for now. And then I'll work on making it all work together later. Buffer, and we're gonna say AABB. Actually, yeah, no, let's do this. So we're gonna say AABB. Well, what are the bounds? Bounds is where you place. Oh, no, it's just straight up the bounds, huh? So... where's the one place we actually use this? Oh, I can't tell. I broke it. We're only using this in one place. Maybe we can fix this here. Oh, Jesus, really? That's the one place we're using it? All right. Well, I can remake this function however I want then. I'm not using it for anything else. Let's say blocks. If not, buffer AAB encloses coords. Continue. Integer index buffer equals buffer.getIndex coords. Oh, so this is where we're depositing it. How are we going to do this? Sushi Studio, you just passed by the stream. Do you have any art for this yet? A little Sushi. Welcome in. We're working on like an isometric 2D take on FTL, faster than light. So we've been mostly working on the feel of it. We most of our effort has gone into this tilemap editor tool. So it's like bare bones in terms of what you can do with it yet. But yeah, we're going for this very low res, so you can start to build out rooms, and this is mostly a tool for me to build the spaceships. So we can build things out, we can put in doors and stuff. So we have pretty rudimentary, I have some doors, we have some basic people that we've made and animated, and some blocks. We're still working mostly on the programming, but we have some art stuff in the pipeline. Like I want to add angled blocks, because right now we just really support cube blocks, but I want to add some more angular pieces for the shipbuilding so we can start to get some silhouettes in there. We've been working a lot on expanding our color palette, so we've tried out a bunch of different color palettes. This is the original that you saw. And then this is like my new expanded palette. So we've been mostly working on the programming, but we are exploring the art. Such a cute art style. You'll definitely be keeping an eye on this. Good job. Thank you, Sushi Studio. Appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out here. Yeah, this is not a short-term project. We bit off a lot. And I got them doors. Oh yeah, I do have them doors, no Joel. I don't know why I bothered to animate these doors. It's not going to be relevant for quite a while. But we do have them. We do have our doors. Yeah, I can't wait to be able to work more on the art. All right, so place blocks in. So there is a place, so we need to place these somewhere. So I need to pick an anchor point. So the anchor point should be wherever the selection ended. So like, if I make this thing and I select this part of it, once I let go and I start moving this around, this piece should be anchored to this coordinate that I clicked on, this one, where the selection ended. Whereas like if I did it the opposite way, if I went this way and ended here, then when I move the mouse around, it should be anchored here. So we actually need like a selection anchor. We need to keep track of that. That's something we can record in the end step. So let's say that. Let's record that somewhere here. So let's say private vector 3i selection anchor. And that's essentially going to be like an offset, I guess, of some kind somehow. So when we end a selection, we're going to say selection anchor equals coords. In which case we should also just do this. Just in case. Sorry, 1 second. I gotta respond to a text real quick. All right. So we're going to set the selection anchor. It's just going to be the coords. The real question is, does it need to be... Can it just be the coords, like which are the world coords? Does it need to be like coords that are local to the selection? Like, does it need to be the local coordinates? I actually don't know. I do not know. All right, so what we're gonna do here, so when we're placing our blocks in, get the span, we get all of the coordinates in our block. We actually don't need to get the coordinates in the block. What we need to do, well, I guess we do. We actually need to sample these. I think this is going to work a little differently than I expect it to, but we're going to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to say index is buffer get index, hidden blocks, triad. So what we're going to say is vector 3i new coords equals coords plus selection anchor. I don't think this is going to work, but I want to try this so I can start to visualize it. Oh, it actually needs to be span buffer dot get index new coords. Oh, we actually need a new index as well. Integer new index. And then span at new index equals merge block span new index span index. We're basically going to move the blocks over one by one. Active blocks dot triad. Do I need this to be in the active blocks thing? I don't think so, but it would be new coords and new index. I don't think we need to record that though, so I'm not going to. All right, and we're just gonna call this. We're just gonna try this and see what this looks like. Place blocks in game.input.selection buffer. Let's see what this does. All right, so I'm gonna try to make this like a little bit of an unusual shape here, just so we can kind of see what's going on. Okay, now I'm gonna select this. Oh, I need to copy it. Crash. Unsupported block merge argument incoming.form. Argument out of range exception. So What was this block's form? Form 0, face 0. What? Place blocks in. So blocks 46, 46, 0, 54, 54, 0, buffer, block buffer, buffer ID, blah, 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 blah. Span, get the coords. Oh, we're not safely. Yeah, index 2990. We're not actually safely checking this. Yeah, oops. We need to do this again. We need to do that for one thing. We need to do an actual enclosure check. In fact, I don't know if we need to do an initial enclosure check, but we might as well. All right. So now I'm just going to try to grab this and then copy it. Okay, so there it is. It's right there. I cannot move it. Seemingly. Oh, and then crash. Weird how this doesn't support an empty block. Merge block. Incoming form. Oh, we don't actually handle this, do we? We actually need to handle the default case, huh? Because we switch based on the incoming form. No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, what if our selection includes an empty block? That's the thing I'm not accounting for. I guess I should like add a case here. So case block.forms.empty. No, that's not going to work. Null. I can't actually do that. What I could do is I could say if incoming incoming.form is equal to block.empty.form. Actually, we could just do that here then. So down here we could say case block.empty.form. Can I not do that? Are you not happy with me? A constant value is expected. Oof. Oh, here, let's just do it this way. If incoming form equal to block.empty.form, what we're going to do is we're going to return block.empty. See if I can at least get through this error message. Okay, so it puts it here. It put it on a lower level for some reason. A little strange. Oh, now it's over there. Okay, so we are having some issues with the selection anchor for sure. It needs to move around with me. I'm not doing that. Oh, we're at our favorite time of the day here. I've got a spam bot that I can ban. Load the photon torpedoes here. Target the spam bot. Open fire. So fun.
He's dead, Jim.
Excellent timing. Thank you, No Joel. I need to add some more sound effects. All right, so this, I feel like I'm abusing this function because it's really not supposed to work this way. But it seems like a good early out. All right, so the problem is where we're positioning the new stuff. So right now we have this selection anchor. It needs to be the local coordinate, not the world coordinate. This selection anchor. So I need to set that correctly. So it needs to be the local coordinate. And so to get that, I just subtract minimum. So to get that local coordinate here, which I can do here, I say selection anchor equals its coords minus game.input.selection.minimum. And that's the local coordinate. And that's something, but it's not sufficient. That is necessary, but not sufficient. So where is the hover here? So hover is blocks in, so it needs to be we need to say coords. We need to be able to put in the coords here. So we're going to call this offset. All right, let's see what that does for us. All right, so I've got this. I'm gonna make a little like design or something. I'm gonna make like a and then I'm gonna grab this part of it. And I'm gonna copy it. Okay, we got it to an extent. It's offset from the mouse, which is not correct. So my offset thing is not correct. And we're also not cleaning it up correctly. And that's because I actually understand why that's happening. You love it when you see like a bug and you're like instantly like, I understand why that's occurring. Yeah, so this is here. Instead, what we're doing here is we're going to say reveal blocks in. But did we not actually view this? Oh, we need to say reveal inactive blocks. So we need to say reveal inactive blocks. So the bounds is... Oh, this is where we need prior coords. Prior coords, buffer. Why can't I use prior coords here? Oh, prior bounds. Oh man, we have to maintain this more. Prior bounds. Active bound. How do we do this? Bounds. Okay, we need to pull more code from the placement script. This needs to go here. Oh, I need to handle the offset is what I need to do more correctly. So we need to clean up the area outside this. What does this look like? Out block. New. Yeah. So I just need to keep track of the area that we're in. I need to start using code regions or something. I'm like losing the track of some of these things. So we have selection anchor. We also need like selection bounds. Oh, we have that. That's the game input dot selection. What we can do is we can say prior bounds equals game dot input dot selection. Shenanigans. Pretty cool to see how far everything has come along in the last couple weeks. Editor is really starting to come together. Thank you, Shenanigans. I feel like I haven't worked at all on this in the last couple weeks, but it's nice to see it starts to come together. That's the problem with making a strategy game, or a tool for that matter, is like nothing is together until everything comes together. Like it just feels so nebulous until a lot of stuff is in place. Like until the majority of the thing is in place, it just feels like there's nothing here. Kind of a problem. Okay, so prior bounds. So we need to make a new bounds. So the new bounds is going to be... It needs to be coords. I need to like rebase. I need like a rebase command. That's what I need. For my bounding boxes, so that I can rebase my bounding boxes with a new minimum. Because that's the part that I'm struggling with right now is tracking, is having this bounding box follow the mouse around correctly and clean itself up as it goes along. So what if I just ignore the selection anchor right now? Because I feel like I feel like my selection anchor thing is a little half-baked. So we're just going to forget about it for now. what we'll do now. So we're gonna say AABB bounds equals tomato salad coming in. Red alert. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. How is the stream? How's the stream? Tomato salad. It's been a minute. How are you doing? Raiders, welcome in. We're working on Digital Iliad, which is like an FTL-like that we're making in Godot. It's like a 2D isometric take on FTL faster than light. I've got kind of a bit of a style guide behind me just to give you an idea of kind of the vibe we're going for. Thanks, the stream was awesome. You had some fun with ragdolls. Ooh. And how is yours going? Mine is going okay. We're working on my tilemap editor tool. We're adding a bunch of functionality. So we've got like, you can build out these spaces. We're keeping track of the used rect here. And what we're working on now is like a selection tool. So like, let's say you build this room. And then you change your mind about it and you're like, I actually want it to be like a little over to the left. I'm working on a tool so you can select this and then move it around. So you have this selection tool now where you can select a space and move it. And the selection can be like 3-dimensional. So that's kind of what we're working on is some expansion of our tool set here. So that you can build out these 3D rooms that'll make up a spaceship. Looks really cool. Appreciate that. Yeah, we have a pretty crazy auto tiler that works through that to make that happen. To just render the whole thing. But yeah, right now we're working on being able to copy a section of it and move it around. Copy it and move it around, and it's a little tricky. So we're struggling through it, but thank you for the raid. If you can hang out, that's awesome. I understand if you got to run. Diginanigans, you say in response to, you know, how long it takes for strategy games and tools and stuff to come together. You're saying that's how things are with the majority of projects you work on too. It does help minimize burnout though, because you get the dopamine hit of it all starting to come together in the final stretches. Yeah, assuming that, you know, you survived the intervening time. Because that's the other problem and why I'm really careful not to like break this project. Like I pretty much, no matter what I'm doing, I try to have this project playable at like all times. Because, well, one, I'm streaming and I need to be able to show it off if people hop in. Like the inimitable tomato salad, which I forgot to shout out. But also it hurts from a morale standpoint if you sit and your project is broken for too long. You like need those dopamine hits of like seeing it come together or seeing it work. You need it. To stay okay, so what we need to do is we need to recalculate the bounds, which is the bounds of where the selection is going to be once you've accounted for the move. The bounds is going to be, yeah, this is why I want like a rebase command. I want to be able to take a bounding box and like essentially move it. Maybe I need a move command. Maybe we need a move function. Like we could have like a public AABB move vector 3i coords. We'd say new AABB, and it would just be minimum Yeah, it would just be this. Maybe that's sufficient. Oh, and maybe the move is the difference between the cursor coords and the selection anchor. That's maybe how the selection anchor ties into all this. That's maybe how it works. Thanks for the shout out. Yes. Helps when you notice progress. Yeah, for sure. I've done it. I've done that in earlier days. I've done the thing where you work on something and it sits broken for like weeks. And now we're in ads. But yeah, the morale hit you take is insane for that sort of thing. All right, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say bounds equals game.input selection plus, or no, it's gonna be game.selection.move, and this is gonna be coords minus selection anchor. And I think that's gonna give us the correct thing. And so reveal inactive blocks, prior bounds. And then here place blocks in. I should change how this works. This should be like bounds, or maybe it should be place these blocks in this. This should be game.input.selection bounds buffer. Now let's go to this function. So this is going to be, so blocks, instead of offset, we're going to include the bounds. AABB bounds. So this is where we're going to be putting everything. So we're going to say do I actually need both of these? I don't think so. Oh, we do. We need to know the offset. We do need to know the offset, the way I've written this. So we get our bounds, which is where we're putting everything. We reveal there. Oh, we also need to set prior bounds. So is the offset this coords minus selection anchor? Maybe we say vector 3i, or maybe we say variable offset equals a new vector 3i. Or we could actually just say offset equals coords minus selection anchor. In which case you're going to be upset with me that you don't say vector 3i. And then here we can just say offset. And now it needs to be back to like this. I don't want to order this in a different way. I hope this works. 2 coords equals coords plus offset. I think this is right. Let's see what we get. See what kind of behavior we get from this. So we're just gonna make a shape. Doesn't really matter what shape. Maybe make like a mildly interesting shape so we can see it. And we're gonna select it. And we're gonna copy it. Okay. Okay. So it's on the wrong layer. And it's way off from where the mouse cursor is. Maybe I'm adding something somewhere where I need to subtract it. Oh no, that's what I'm doing. I'm subtracting. That's causing a problem. Okay, so there's an offset problem, but in theory, this is good. Then if I copy a new area. Oh, I see. Oh, it cleans up. Ooh, okay. What if I go up a level? Oh, I can't. Okay. There's something wrong happening here. Oh, it's because I'm changing the Z. We actually don't want to change the Z axis there. Plus offset. Maybe it's chords plus selection anchor. Probably not. That's certainly not the extent of the problem. There's certainly more happening here with our offsetting that's not working correctly. It's better. Better. It's actually very close, except for the Z shifting that's happening. Oh, is this actually worse the farther forward I get? Yeah, it is. Okay. I don't want to actually see what we're setting as the selection anchor. The 760, so The selection anchor isn't causing our shift down a level, but for some reason we're going down a level. You don't understand why we're being shifted down one level. Selection anchor seems fine. It's in local coordinates. It's this plus offset thing. What if I say plus offset dot? Well, no, we might actually have a Z offset. Don't know why there's a Z offset from the by default. I would like to figure out at least this today. I'd like to at least get this copy function working, even if we don't get the paste and everything. Oh, that's weird. How did that happen? All right, so grab this, copy this. Yeah, it moves down a level immediately. Very strange. I want to run this in here so we can actually see the debugger. $53, $54, $50, whatever. Okay. It says 0. And yet being drawn one level lower. That I don't understand. Even though the coords all say 0. So where is this Z-axis movement being introduced? Gotta be here. Gotta be with this coordinate. has me stumped a little bit. I don't see anywhere we're introducing a Z coordinate shift, but for some reason whenever we copy this stuff, it's going down a level. Let me see if this is compounding. Like if I go down a level and I try to copy, if we copy further, like 2 down instead, 2 levels down. If I like make this room. Make this random room here. If I just copy a chunk of it. And I copy it. Where is it? One second, someone's ringing my doorbell. Okay, well I uncovered something a little more alarming, which is that I don't know where this. Oh, okay, some horrible things are happening. I don't know why I didn't see it at all and it all showed up all of a sudden. So what if I just copy this chunk? I copy it. Okay, there it is. 1 level down. What if I do the same thing? Let's just restart that. Let's go a level down. Let's make 2 levels. Let's go 1 level down. Let's copy that level. Let's see where that ends up. Okay, that's 2 levels down. Okay, it is compounding. So somehow the Z index of the area itself is having this compounding effect. How, though? Oh, it's reporting 1. Yeah, that's correct. That is a correct offset. Somehow this is getting compounded, and I don't know where that's happening. I mean, I kind of know where. It's got to be in here. Got to be something to do with working with the coords in the actual AABB. Oh, well, that's a problem. For one thing. All right, make our thing. Select a subsection, copy it. See where it is. It's way down there somehow. Oh, but this is on the correct level now. Did I at least fix one of the bugs? Just to create another one? Looks like the answer is maybe. It seems like I've broken something. No? It stopped working. All right, what if I go all the way to the edge here? And I try to copy some portion of this. Okay, so I don't see it anymore. That's concerning. Yo, hey Matthew Sparks. You're refusing to work for the rest of the day. How's it going? It's all right. We're struggling with some bugs here that have become quite maddening. I think we're dealing with a crazy offset that's like violates some rules here. It's just not rendering this stuff now. And I kind of understand why. Buffer.getIndex new coords. These coordinates in this block thing, this needs to be related to the buffer. That's actually not happening. These coordinates need to be brought within the buffer's local space. That's definitely part of the problem. Vector 3i. But that sounds good not to work for the rest of the day. That sounds, I'm jealous. We're going to call this local. We're going to make it awards minus buffer dot AABB dot minimum. So we're going to get the local coords. Well, relatively local. These coords are local to the block, so we're actually going to get them local to the buffer. And actually, if we want to get them local to the buffer, how does this iteration work? Get a numerator. Yeah, so you're 0 based. Oh, but you add the minimum. Okay, so this is in global coordinates. So when you iterate through these, oh, so when you iterate through these, you're iterating in global coordinates. And here, you're putting them back into local coordinates. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's not a problem. So when we ask if the buffer encloses these coordinates, it's actually internalizing it and then doing that. Same thing with the get index. And then we have this new set of coordinates. And so this is the global coordinate. I need to tighten up this offset. This offset is not the correct offset, and I think that's causing the vast majority of my problems. It's not coordinates plus selection anchor. It should be minus. So coordinates, these are global, well, these are tilemap coordinates. They're global coordinates. Selection anchor. Coordinates minus. If I place this, okay, so we fixed the z-axis thing. So they're at least not changing z-axis anymore. I honestly am not 100% sure what was causing that, but we fixed it either way. Oh. I see a problem. We're actually actively referencing the... So like if I select this and then I'm copying it somewhere else, it actually doesn't have a... It needs like a snapshot of this. Because right now, if I change this, if I start to like erase, like, yeah, weird stuff starts to happen if I start to like mouse over the selection. I need to deal with that. First, I want to get this offset to be correct though. What if offset is like just coords? Okay. It's way down here for some reason. I don't understand why it's way down here. Why is there such an intense, like such a huge offset between the cursor and where it's drawing this thing? Okay. What if we left selection anchor as a global coordinate instead of a local coordinate? What if we did that? Would that help? Or would that hurt? Oh, okay. That was what was missing. I kind of need this selection graphic to move with me. But I need to deal with this recursive thing. Because it's like sampling the selection area, which like is not what I want. I actually need to take a snapshot of that and hold on to it. I need to decide how I'm going to do that. I guess it's just an array. Okay, but now at least... Okay, I think I'm getting an idea of what's going on. Grab this, and I just copy this little chunk. And I copy it. Now it should be right here. Yeah, okay, and it's tied, it's anchored to where my cursor is. Okay, so we at least now have the selection, the copied selection anchored to the cursor. We do need to deal with the issue is coming about when we have like empty space in the selection, which actually I should probably treat differently than the way I'm currently treating it. Right now, if like, let's say I make this selection and it's like half empty and I select this, then it actually it erases things, it replaces stuff, which is not actually how we want it to work. We actually want empty space in the selection to basically be ignored. What if I try to place this down here? Okay, that works. Here's something I want to test. So, what happens if I have like... What if I am trying to select a multi-dimensional thing? Okay, that works. Okay, that's good to know. So I can at least select volumes. This sampling issue we need to resolve immediately. It's trippy, but a problem. It like samples itself as it's trying to override itself. That's fine. That makes this a little more complicated than I was hoping it would be, but that's fine. That's fun though. All right, I need to change how empty parts of the selection work. We almost need. So the merge tool. I'm gonna actually make the merge tool a little more. Oh, why can't I find this thing? Merge. I'm gonna make the merge block thing more functional. I'm gonna say if incoming form is that, we're actually just gonna return the existing. Okay, so that should at least deal with the empty block problem. So now if we have a selection that includes empty blocks, it won't do anything. Hopefully. So we grab this, we select this, we copy this. Ooh. Oh. That had an unintended consequence for the reveal block system thing. Somehow. Kind of, I'm not actually sure how, but now we're getting like an after image thing. Why is that creating an after image? Actually, we are gonna have. I think we are gonna. I'm gonna go back to what I was doing before. I'm gonna return block.empty. No good way to not do that. Because if we reveal a block that's empty, we actually want it to overwrite what's already there. So actually, we actually need that to be. We actually need that to be the way this behaves. Fine. So you just shouldn't. If you happen to make a selection that includes empty space, you just have to acknowledge the fact that that empty space is going to be respected. Maybe this selection box thing should follow you around, though. So you can see where you're operating on. That's probably good. So what we want to do is we want to change a couple things here. I'm just going to make a clipboard. It's going to be an array. It's going to be a block array. I'm just going to call it clipboard for now. So instead of just having an AABB selection, we actually need to build out the clipboard. We need to say, when this is done, we need to say clipboard equals new. We actually need a function for getting the buffer, getting those pieces of the buffer out. What do we want to do? How do we want to do that? Say new block. We can say game.input.selection.size. Dot size, not a. Oh, it's a vector 3i. Oh, I want volume. Okay, so we make that, and then what we need to do is we need to basically say for each vector 3i awards in. Oh, we basically just need a function for this. I'm just gonna write it here though. We'll put it in a function later. Actually, no, I do need a function. It would be like something like copy selection. Maybe like we'll call it copy to clipboard or something like that. So let's make a private block copy to clipboard. We need the bounds. We need the buffer. So we need to say like variable blocks is new block buffer dot length. We can say for each actually we can say for each integer index. Is that doable? Have I set it up to be like that? No, I haven't. Okay. Why haven't I set that up? Thought I could just iterate through. I haven't set it up to be able to do that. You could just say get index coords. Not ideal, but I'll improve that. I should be able to iterate through the span without having to do this. Thought I set up an iteration. Do a .to list, but that's not super helpful. That's just coordinates. Oh, I could just go from I through. I'm an idiot. We can just say. Yeah, we can just iterate through directly. We can say. We need to get the span. Span. We actually don't need rewrite. We can say read only. Read only span. Read only. Oh no, we do need to iterate through the chords. Oh, we could actually say for each coords in buffer.get overlapping, or no, buffer.aabb.get overlapping bounds. We can say no, that won't work. I'm feeling like an array, and it needs to be tightly packed. And it's a subsection of this larger buffer. And it's multi-dimensional. I just need to make sure I'm copying it in correctly. It almost makes sense to have a block buffer for this, but I'm not going to. Like a separate buffer. I'm gonna kind of do this a little raw here. Oh, the rain has begun. That's exciting. Oh, and some bins are knocked over. Windy and rainy out there. That's nice. Oh, come on. All right, Dave, figure this out. So we're copying to a clipboard, so we're trying to store all of this stuff. We have the coords for the boundaries, bounds of what we're trying to copy into. This iterates. We know this iterates through an order, so we should actually be able to just... Here, we should be able to do this. Integer index equals 0. Should be able to say blocks index plus plus equals span buffer dot, yeah, get index. And then return blocks. This should work? Question mark? We're gonna just do this at the end. We're gonna say clipboard equals copy to clipboard game.input. Track is bumping. All right, this buffer. Okay, so we got the clipboard. And now what we're gonna do when we're doing our hover, bit of how does the place blocks functions work generally? Oh, let's see. We're going to say clipboard. We're going to say offset. We're going to say buffer. Oh, we actually do need to know the bounds. I mean, technically we don't need to declare them here, but I would rather not have state. I would rather add as little implied state as possible. This is a block array. We're saying for each coordinate in bounds, not buffer.get encloses boards. Continue. No, that's not what we want. We want index buffer. No, index is going to be bounds dot get index awards. New coords. Coords plus offset. Okay. Not buffer A, B dot encloses new coords. New index equals buffer dot get index new coords. Sure. Hidden blocks, triad, new coords. Span. No. So what we want to do here is we want to say. Oh no, that's right. And then span, new index equals merge block. This is the existing. And then this is the new. So instead of span index, now we're going to say blocks index. And now we shouldn't have that weird sampling issue, assuming any of this works. All right, so now if I grab a section of this and copy it. Okay, now it's not interfering with itself. So now it actually holds stuff in the clipboard. I kind of want the selection thing to like follow me around, but that might be a little, maybe that's too much. I think it actually is good that it's showing you where you copied from. Okay, cool. We got a copy functionality going. That's great because I need to get back to work. Tomorrow we can work on cut and paste and seeing what else we need to do to make that more visually pleasing. I still kind of want a click and drag thing, but I don't think that's going to be doable easily. But that feels like pretty good progress for today. I want to thank everyone for hanging out. Of course, let's find someone to raid. Got a decent number of people in here today. Probably Temptic. Let's see if Temptic is still going. Temptic's been going for 3 hours. I actually don't know how much longer Temptic's going to be going for. Probably going to be Fern. It's usually just Fern. Let's see who's in my team is streaming. Besides Fern. Me, Temptic, Danger. Well, there's quite a few people in here, actually. Oh, a lot of people are playing games. Hey, Barlane. Good job today. Thank you. Appreciate that. We're going to set up the raid here.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp, no jewel. All right. Well, yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the stream today. We're back to our 3-hour streams, I guess. I was thinking about doing a short 2-hour one, but I just got so engrossed. But yeah, we'll continue to stream for the remainder of this week. So we've got a couple more streams here. Thursday, Friday. Probably no stream Saturday, but I hope you all come back in the next couple of days to hang out. And whether or not you do, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to see you next time. Bye.